Okay, guys, we're going to get things started today. So everyone should be able to see the dashboard.
Yep.
As Laura was saying, if at any point you have technical difficulties, feel free to message into the Q&A here. You should be able to see our Q&A over to the right side of your screen. There's a lot of tools and there's a lot of dashboards here. Some social links for you to engage with us. You're also going to be able to access some resources that we'll provide on our website. Definitely get on there after the webinar. Feel free to explore everything there and use our resources to learn even more, okay?
We will, and we'll reference those free resources a couple times through the webinar, so definitely remember where that is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, like I said, if you have any questions about the dashboard, feel free to Q&A in, and we'll get some answers to you guys right on the spot, all right?
And actually, at any point, you can type your questions about any of the content from the webinar into that Q&A box, so that way you can make sure that we have a great chance to get to your question in our Q&A section at the end of the webinar.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I know a lot of you were probably expecting to see Shannon Myers presenting today. She's our product marketing director, and she is not able to be with us today. So I hope you guys aren't too disappointed that I'm going to be joining you. I am Laura Redder. I am the manager of marketing communications here at Vivial. I've spent about 15 years in the digital marketing business. I helped a lot of marketing teams through various industries using cutting edge tools like the ones that we'll talk about today to really get their marketing initiatives up and running and really see success, whatever those success metrics may be, really use these tools in a lot of different ways. So I'm also, just like Shannon, I am a Google certified individual. So what that basically means is Google says that I've taken the time to learn a little bit more about these Google tools. So excited to share a lot of that information with you guys today.
Yep. Absolutely, and I can speak firsthand to Laura's experience and her expertise working with customers. We work hand in hand on a daily basis. I am Chris Frost. I do work with our clients more on a business level. I get down there with the clients to help figure out what their problems are, what they're looking for, and we develop strategies throughout the entire life cycle of their program, from start to developing over the years as they grow. So together we're going to do our best today to help educate you on some of the areas of how to get onto Google and how to make Google work for your business. So we'll go ahead and hop on right into it. Again, the agenda today, some things that we're going to cover are the ABCs of Google, what it means, what the different sections of Google are and how to get ranking on each one of them. We're going to take a look at some stats. Obviously, everyone's on this webinar because they found some value in Google. We'll reinforce that for you guys and let you know just how powerful it is. We'll look at the anatomy. So, yes, I want to rank on Google, but what does that mean? What area do you want to rank on Google? How do you get to each of those different pieces? We'll look at Google My Business. That's that map section, some of those local businesses, those local areas that are looking in your area. We're going to take a look at putting your business on that map, getting ranking in that local area. We will look at how to rank in the organic section. So it's 2017. Hopefully we all have a website at this point. How to make your website rank for you. How to get a spot in that paid ad section. We're going to look into the Google AdWords. And then we're going to look at how to determine if you need a partner. It can be very daunting to rank on Google and spend time, and we're all small business owners, so you wear a lot of hats, and sometimes marketing can't be one of those hats. So when do you need to bring a partner into the play? And then, of course, we'll answer any questions. We won't leave any stone unturned.
Yep. So with that, we'll dive right in and get started with the ABCs of Google. Now, you might be wondering, what are the ABCs of Google? But for those of you that don't know, recently Google, their parent company, has been renamed Alphabet. So really, when we're looking at the different components of Google, and especially the different tools within Google that you as a small business can use, we're talking about the ABCs of Google. So we'll talk about a lot of these in depth today. Some of them we won't touch on so much, but we want to give a high-level overview of kind of all of them and all the tools that you can use as a small business. So starting with the Google Maps listings, we talk about the fact that, as consumers, probably most of us have looked for a business while we're out and about using our smartphone, pulling it up on the maps and we want to find what's near us, whether it's a restaurant or a tow truck service, which we'll talk about later, whatever that is, you know, we're using Google Maps to find businesses. Google My Business is sort of that platform, like your online business card. It's got all that information, and it's really your profile on Google, the profile of your business, and what you can do, and we'll talk about the different ways that you can optimize that presence to really gain more exposure for your business. When we talk about, you know, when a lot of people talk about Google search, they're talking about Google organic listings. That's that typical, I'm going to go Google something. That's what we're talking about when we talk about Google organic listings. Google paid listings, we're going to talk about that for you guys today too. That's that ad section that Chris was talking about. You know, a lot of people see the word ad next to the results on their Google search page. And what does that mean? How do we get there? Really powerful tool, but it can be a little complex on the back end. So we'll talk through a little bit of how you can use that, and also when it's best to partner with someone to help you out with that. Google Plus is kind of your social profile on Google for your business. And, you know, we won't get too much into that today, but certainly there is that tool available for you as well as a small business to use. YouTube, I think everybody's familiar with YouTube as, like, I think the second largest search engine out there. Yeah. So video, it's that video component. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on and how important it is that you actually have videos for your business, even if it doesn't make total sense to you. Google Analytics is kind of the powerhouse on the back end of Google that can really tell you how all these different components are working for your business and what sort of results you're seeing. So there again, probably a topic for a future webinar for us. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely keep tuned to Vivial to see when we're covering that, but not something we're going to get into too much detail on today because, you know, we can have a whole webinar just on Google Analytics. Definitely very powerful. In addition, we've got Google reviews, and you know, a lot of people are familiar with Yelp and other review sites like that. Google has its own reviews section, and we'll touch a little bit on how powerful those are in conjunction with some of these other tools.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think right now we're going to do a quick poll of you guys. We want to know how many of you guys are familiar with these different tools within Google. So you should see a poll pop up on your screen. Just go ahead and click on all of the elements of Google that you are familiar with. And I know, you know, if the answer is none, you're not alone. I think, you know, I think you've had some issues with clients that don't even know kind of what Google Organic is.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Some people say, you know, I want to get on the Google, and they're just so not well versed with Google, and that's okay. Again, if you use some of these, great. If you haven't used any of them or you've dabbled here and there, that's fine. You're in the right place. We're here to help out. So you've definitely landed on a good webinar for you.
Yeah. So definitely get those answers in here in the next 5 or 10 seconds, and we'll talk to you about that here in a little bit. We'll review the results and see what we get. So I think you should see up there right now, you should see different options. So, you know, if you know about Google Maps, maybe you have used it. I think we're particularly interested if you've used any of these, if you've dabbled in them from a business perspective. Yep. I think everybody's, you know, used Google Maps as a consumer, but, you know, have you used them as a business? Have you gone into Google My Business and optimized your profile? So there again, you know, we're just trying to gauge your level of knowledge with these topics. I think that'll help us make sure that we help you best. And also give us some information about like what future topics that we should look at. So we're going to go ahead and close the poll here. So get those votes in here in the next 5 seconds, and then we'll close the poll and we'll review the results. All right, let's go ahead and see what we've got in terms of results. Wow.
Okay, wow. So it's a little across the board. It seems like we got a pretty engaged group here. It seems like everyone's, a lot of people have used quite a bit of these. It looks like some Google Maps are really maybe our forte, so we'll definitely jump on there this webinar and reinforce that as well. And it looks like some of the lower, you know, amounts might be some of these the Google Plus. What is a Google Plus? That's that social piece of Google. So good deal. We got a good engaged group. Everyone seems to see some value in it. But we'll reinforce that throughout the rest of the webinar, okay?
And hey, if there's anything on here that we don't get into great detail on today, definitely check back because we plan to cover all these topics in future webinars as well.
Absolutely.
So with that, let's dive right in.
Yeah. What we're going to focus on today are some of these top 4 areas, right, Laura?
Yeah. So we're going to dive into mostly Google Maps listings, Google My Business, Google Organic, and Google paid listings. And as I said, if those other 4 are ones you were really hoping to learn about today, do not despair. We're going to give you a great foundation today, and we'll definitely get into those 4 in future webinars. But stick around, because I think even if you feel like you're pretty well versed in these first 4, we're going to share some really useful tips and tricks for you.
Absolutely.
So the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to dive into some stats. So most of us know that Google is important, but do we know why it's so important for our business? And so really, we think that we've got some pretty powerful statistics to show you why it's so important, starting with the fact that 82% of smartphone users use a search engine when they're looking for a business. So they're on that smartphone, they're going to Google the goods and products and services that your business offers. They're looking in a search engine on their smartphone. So definitely really important to get on Google, and we'll talk about what that means.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next thing, though, that we're talking about is that when you're on Google, it's really important, especially in those organic listings, to be on the first page. We've got some friends over at Google here at Vivial. We've got friends at Google that have said, the best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of the Google search results. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying nobody goes to the second page. And we can see that right here. 71% of clicks happen on that first page. So if your business is not showing on that first page for the keywords that are relevant to your business, you're not going to be doing as well as you really could. And Google isn't working as hard for you as it could.
Absolutely.
50% of consumers that use a search engine on their smartphone and do a search for a local business on their smartphone are going to come to that business within 1 day. So think about that when you're thinking, well, is this really going to impact my business? It is. Being on Google, being visible on Google in all of these components of Google can have a really huge impact on actual foot traffic in your business, especially if you've got a business, storefront. So definitely really important to make sure that you're, present and really visible in Google.
Absolutely.
50% or more of total searches are done on a mobile device. So when we talk about, a little later, we're going to talk about the need for a mobile optimized website. We're going to talk about all of these mobile components to search. When we talk about that, it is important because more and more and more of searches and local searches and searches within search engines are happening on mobile devices. So we've got to be thinking about how we create an experience that's great for those consumers.
Absolutely, and we think mobile and we think people on the move, and that's definitely a big part of that mobile search. But I'll tell you what, people are also looking on their phones while they're sitting on their couch, when they're sitting at home. Desktop computers are probably not as common in homes, and people getting on their phone, even from their couch, are looking for your business on mobile.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of times my husband's watching something on TV, I could not care less about it, so I'm on my phone looking for things. Maybe I'm like, oh, that's right, I need to take my car in for an oil change. I'm sitting on the couch at home, but I'm going to be searching for a local business.
Absolutely.
When we talk about paid ads and we talk about Google AdWords and those searches, Google has shared with us a really great stat that the click-through rate for ads appearing in that first slot on a mobile device, that first ad slot, 27% click-through rate, which is absolutely unheard of. I mean, what is it? How does that compare to typical click-through rates on other types of ads?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of ways you can have your business showing up online, but you look at online display, or potentially you look at some email marketing. Click-through rates with those are under the 5% range, sometimes under the 1% range when you look at some online display and some things like that. So you look at the value of being in the ad section,
right?
27% click-through rate, that's huge. That's big for your business.
And it's easily trackable. You can really connect that to real business, to real leads, emails, phone calls, feet in the door, that sort of thing. So that's great.
Absolutely.
And finally, when we're managing paid ad campaigns for our clients, we're seeing even on desktop, desktop and mobile. So that last stat, the 27% was just on mobile through Google. But for us at Vivial, when we're managing campaigns like this for clients, we're seeing a 25% click-through rate, or a conversion rate, I'm sorry. So that's amazing. I mean, 25% of everyone that's seeing their ad?
Yeah, that's 4 people, see your ad. One of those people becomes a customer. They give you a phone call. You at least get the shot to make them a customer. And those numbers are huge. It varies by industry. And I can tell you, though, if you get 1 out of every 4 customers and say you're a roofer, $5 to $10 to $15,000 per client. So think about what's the value of 1 client, and if you could get 1 out of every 4, how big is that for your business?
That's a great return on investment.
Yep, exactly. So, as I mentioned earlier, I work with those customers on a daily basis, and I can't tell you how many people just come to me flat out say, I want to be on Google. That's it. What does that mean? There are so many different places to get on Google, and there are so many different actions that you have to take in order to rank on Google. So when we look at the search anatomy of Google, we're talking about the paid ad section that's right there at the top. We see it a lot. It says ad next to it. We're talking about the map section, so a local business looking for businesses near you. You want to get to that business that day, maybe.
Right.
And then we're looking at the organic section, so we're talking about websites and Yelp listings and Manta and all those different directory sites. So when we look at the anatomy of Google, each of those areas takes a individual separate action to get ranking in that area.
Yep.
So it's not enough to say, I want to rank on Google. You got to talk about what area you want to, and then what actions do I need to take to get there.
Right.
So we'll start off with Google My Business. Google My Business is essentially your online business card. It is a first shot for you to express to your customers who you are, what you do, give them a visual for your business. It's a first impression, if you will. This is a place where you can set yourself apart from some of your competition. Anyone in the world can pick up a tool belt and say they own their own construction business.
Sure.
But are you that business, or are you the business that has a nice van, that has a logo on the side of it? Do you have a logo? A business description? How long have you been in business?
Right.
Do you have reviews? Are people talking about how good of an experience they had with you? This is a business that is established, and you set yourself apart from that everyday person who just starts up their own business.
Right.
It's a great place for you to make an impression with your customers.
Now, is Google My Business something that any business owner can go in and claim and optimize themselves, or is this something where I'm going to need to use the services of an agency to go in and do that?
Yeah, it depends on who you are and what your comfortability level is. But I can tell you, you can go out there and get yourself a Google My Business profile, get it claimed, and start getting that going. It gets a little more complex when you talk about ranking in the map section. So getting a Google My Business profile is going to give you that shot. Then you're going to have to take some extra steps and get a little more savvy to actually rank in the map section.
Sounds like it's a great foundational step, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've talked about getting it claimed. Why is it so important to claim my Google My Business profile? A couple of different reasons. So you'll look on the left side. This is a business that has it claimed. They have a picture of that truck, that van. They look established. I can trust them. They have reviews, they have their phone number, they have a picture, all of that. This is an established business. They have control of their Google My Business profile. Now, on the right side, on the other side there, it's not so good. You see a picture of an empty lot. You scroll down here and you'll see, own this business. This is one that's not even claimed. We don't even know if this is a real business.
Sure.
This business is kind of open to interpretation. Someone could go out there and actually claim this business, say that they're that business, put the information out there. Google sets up some barriers for you that make it a little hard, but it is possible. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're that business that has control. You want to know exactly what's being said about your business and how to respond to it. And you definitely need to claim your Google My Business profile to make sure that you have that.
Sure. I can tell you, I live in a small town, and the business hours for a lot of the local businesses vary widely. Some people aren't open on Mondays. Some people, close at 5 o'clock. Some people close at 6. I use this type of information all the time as a consumer to just, as we're on our way somewhere or looking for a restaurant, make sure it's open. Yeah. So if you don't have your business hours or your website or, that sort of information, your phone number, I'm not going to use that business. I'm going to look for somewhere else to go. So definitely really important from a consumer perspective.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so we got our Google My Business profile claimed. We got our business subscription out there. We've given ourselves a shot to show up in that map section. Now we have to make sure we're the best option in the map section. So we'll talk a little bit about putting your business on the map, taking that Google My Business profile and actually getting it to rank well. Couple of things that you want to make sure that you have, and I've kind of hinted on them before here. You want to make sure that you have a nice, robust business description. You want to make sure that you're telling your customers exactly what you do and where you do it. If you're a roofer, are you a roofer and a bathroom remodeler, and also you do plumbing? Make sure that you have all of that stuff in your business description. You want to make sure that you're getting some reviews. Solicit your customers. If you've done a good job, tell them to go out there and tell other people.
Right.
You want to make sure that you have the categories. So again, I go back to roofer, but are you a roofer? Are you a plumber? Are you a contractor, general contractor, remodeler? Make sure all of this is listed there because your customers are looking for your information. If you don't provide it to them, just like what you said with the hours, they're going to go to the next person.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend a lot of time. We're a very I want it now kind of society.
Sure.
And so I'm just going to go to the next person.
Right.
The other thing is videos. So we talked about earlier that YouTube is one of the second largest search engines out there. Get some videos about your company. Get them out there. Even if they're those just corny little 30-second videos and commercials about your business, get them out there. Put them on your Google My Business profile because they'll help your rankings. All of these things are going to create a really good customer experience. But on the back end, they're also showing Google that you're trustworthy. They're showing Google that you're a business that cares and that you want to provide a good service to your customers.
Sure.
That's the type of business that Google wants to suggest.
Yeah.
They want to rank you higher so they can get you in front of customers over, that guy that picked up the tool belt and threw it in the back of his truck and just said, I own my own business now.
Exactly.
You want to be a very established, trustworthy business,
Yeah.
and this is a way to get that done.
Common theme throughout everything with Google is trust. They're looking for as many cues as possible to know that they can trust your business as an authority on what you say you're an authority on, whether it's roofing, contracting, tow truck driving, whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
So Chris is giving you some great information about how to rank on the map section and how to get that foundation for yourself and for your business on Google. So when a lot of people talk about ranking on Google, what they're really talking about is ranking in that organic section. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about how to rank on Google organically. So the first thing is everybody wants to know, okay, so maybe I'm showing up in the organic rankings already, but how can I improve my rank? Everybody wants that coveted top spot within the Google organic ranking. So how do you do that? And we're going to talk through with you some of the things that you can do. And why do you want to be in that top spot? As we reminded you, 71% of clicks happen on that first page. And a vast majority of those happen within those kind of top 3 results. Like, a lot of our reporting within Vivial, we will report back on how you're ranking in the top 3. And, that's because most of those clicks are happening in the top 3. So what we want to know is how many of you as consumers, how many of you click past the first page of search results? I know I don't, I think so. We're going to open up a poll for you guys to let us know how often you click beyond the first page. And I think, Chris, we've talked about the fact neither one of us clicks beyond that first page.
Absolutely. More often than not, I'm going to do a different search. If I don't find what I'm looking for, I'm going to go ahead and probably just perform a different search. I'll find what I can on the first page because that's where, in my opinion, the trustworthy businesses are. That's where the people I can trust live. If you can't get your business on the first page, I'm much less likely to go to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know for those of you out there, if you're feeling frustrated because you're thinking, I've done a lot, I feel like I'm doing everything I can to be on the first page and I'm not. There are some businesses and some geographic areas of the country that are highly competitive, and you've got a lot of competitors out there that are doing everything they can to show up on that first page. And so that's why these sorts of tips and tricks that we're sharing and the services that we talk about are so important, because if you're not doing it, chances are you've got a competitor in your market that is doing it. So, we want to make sure that you've got every tool working at your disposal so that you can be ranking in those top spots. So we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to close the poll, take a look at the results, and then we'll get going on some tips and tricks. So it looks like the vast majority of you usually don't click past the first page. So, that's the way most people are. On occasion, depending on the search, again, if I'm searching for an attorney, I know that there's a lot of competition there. So, I may click into the second page and see, do these still look like legit businesses? So it looks like most of you guys are right there with us in that, most of the time you're staying on that first page, but if it warrants, you'll click to the second page.
Absolutely. So we'll talk a little more about getting onto that first page. We'll move into some other areas of the search anatomy and how you can get ranking on Google.
Exactly. So, all right, what can you do for your rank? There's definitely a lot of things you can do, but first and foremost is website optimization. Now, that means a lot of things. So, for instance, it means link building. What is link building? It's just making sure that you're linking to other relevant resources. You're showing, hey, I'm not afraid to say, like, this is a great resource on plumbing. This is a great resource for attorneys. This is a great resource for whatever. So linking to other relevant sites, linking within your own website so that both your users and Google know what different content within your website to look at, but also making sure that other relevant sites are linking to you. So, if you've got the New York Times linking back to your business's website, that's a pretty strong indicator to Google that you are relevant, you're trustworthy, and you're a legit business. So when we talk about link building, that's something that we can talk about. Link building is something that oftentimes is easier if you've got someone helping you do that, because that can be kind of time consuming, but definitely really important. But I think probably the most important optimization when we're talking about website optimizations is making sure that your business website is mobile friendly, that it's optimized for mobile. How many of you guys out there have searched for something for a business? You click on a result from your smartphone and you get a really horrible user experience. I know I have. You have to pinch and zoom and scroll, and it is just incredibly frustrating, and I am definitely going to bounce. And we know that 50% or more of these local searches are happening on smartphones. So if you can't take the time to optimize your website for mobile, then that's not giving a very good cue to your customers that they are important to you and that you care about their user experience. So I think we're going to look at a couple examples here. Obviously, this is an example of a desktop website that has been optimized. It's definitely really easy, very compelling. It looks clean. It looks modern. It looks like it's been taken care of. There's a very clear call to action there. This is a really great website that has been optimized. And so this gives you a great idea of a user experience that folks want to see. It doesn't look like it was created by, your uncle's brother's sister's girlfriend, in 1995. So, it looks like you really care about your appearance. Just like you would want your storefront not to be crumbling brick and, faded paint. You want to make sure that your website, which is your digital storefront, you want to make sure that it looks good and is a great user experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you say user experience and creating that experience, I think back to a business we work with down in Cincinnati, actually. So they had an okay website. They were getting some business. They were creating an okay experience for their customers. They weren't getting any of that wrecker service, any of the towing requests. They weren't getting any of the the various roadside assistance kind of charges or calls. We went out there and we actually optimized their website to make it mobile friendly.
Right.
Simple on our end. We took a good website and made it a lot better. After that, business was transformed. They started getting all these calls from these local customers who were stuck on the side of the road.
Right.
What do they have? They have their phone. They pick it up and they start doing some Googling for people around them. After they've done that, they're able to get a lot more and diversified business there.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm looking on mobile from my car, I want an easy experience. You can see here we've got an example of a website that has been optimized for mobile and one that has not. And, this is a great example because I have a 72-mile drive each way to work. And sometimes I find myself halfway home from work and I think, there is no way I am fixing dinner tonight. I just want to order Chinese and, my husband can just deal with it. But I don't want to wait until when I get home and then have to turn around and go back out to pick it up. So, I'm going to Google, the local Chinese restaurant, or I'm going to Google whatever restaurant's on my way home. I don't want, I'm doing it at a stoplight. I don't have time to look through it, pinch, scroll, zoom, and try to find, and then try to click on a microscopic phone number if I can even find one. I want to click on an order now, or I want to click on a, click to call button. So this one on the left, great experience. Ease of use, really easy, and they're going to have a much higher conversion rate. The one on the right, I would navigate right away from it. I can't even tell you what it says. I can't even tell you the name of the restaurant. So definitely not a great user experience.
You're fat fingering on that one, trying to push all these different buttons, and you're clicking whatever happens to pop up. So definitely not a good user experience.
Not worth the time. The last element is directory optimization. So when we say, is Google all you need? There's a lot of things on the Google organic section that are not your website or your social profile.
Yeah, more and more now we're seeing these directory sites on the first page. A lot of businesses that I work with don't even know what they are. They don't know how to get there. But you'll see things, I think we're all pretty familiar with some of the bigger ones. Yelp and Google+. City Search, some of these bigger ones. There are hundreds of these directory sites just like that. You want to make sure that your business is showing up on all of them and that you're creating a consistent message for your customers. So are you out there with a different business name? Are you a lawyer and it's listed as your last name and then your first name? Google sees that as untrustworthy. You can't even provide an experience to your customers with the same business name. So it's important to go out to these sites and make sure that your information's out there. Google can be a bit of a mystery sometimes. I'll work with businesses that I'll show them a phone number on a site and they say, how in the world did my home phone number get on there? We don't always know exactly where Google pulls this information. Sometimes it is a bit of a mystery. But the fact is, there's a site out there with information on there that may or may not be correct, and you don't have control over it. So what you want to do is go out there and claim and optimize any of those directories for you. And we actually have a lot of resources we can provide to you guys as well.
Sure. Definitely check out the resources section there on the right side of your screen. We've got some resources. One in particular is 20 directories you need to be on. As Chris said, there's hundreds of them, but these directories need to know what the correct information is about your business. Otherwise, they're just pulling from random places within, the internet. So you need to make sure that you go out and tell those directories that this is who you are, this is your business information. Because, we've found that businesses that don't go out and claim those directory profiles, that business information on those directories, they're not ranking, but also unclaimed and unlocked business directory listings can change as many as 61 times a year. Don't ask us where that information comes from, but erroneous information is introduced all the time. So, we may be overwhelming you with a lot of this information. We're going through it pretty quickly. Just a reminder, get those questions in right now. So we'll get to them in just a few minutes when we get through with our content. But we definitely want to see those questions coming in now so that you can make sure to get them answered.
And those resources, just for anyone who may have logged in a little later, those resources can be found all around your dashboard here that you'll see with that Q&A, with some of the links on the bottom there to social media and some interactive areas. So make sure you explore that and explore the resources. Get on Vivial.net. We have a lot of resources there as well. We have a lot of blogs and some tools that you can use, some free things that you can take advantage of. So use those resources. We definitely want to provide those to you guys.
And you'll see in that resource box too as well, we've got a free report you can run. If you want to know what business information is out there about your business on these hundreds of directories, go ahead and run that free report at the end of the webinar, and you'll be able to see where you stand, and then that'll give you a launching pad to figure out where you need to be correcting information.
Absolutely.
So, we've talked about some keywords, and we talked about, hey, if I want to get into the Google organic section, how do I know what keywords my business should rank for? If I'm a pizza shop, should I be ranking for pizzeria? Should I be ranking for thin crust pizza? What should I be ranking for? So we've got a few really easy tips that you can use. Won't cost you a dime, but that you can do to kind of do your own keyword research. So first and foremost, ask your friends and family how they would search. So I might go up and ask Chris, hey, if you wanted pizza tonight and you didn't know where to go in this area, how would you search for a pizza place?
Well, it varies day by day. I mean, maybe I'm looking for thin crust tonight, or maybe I'm looking for, something cheap and easy to pick up. So maybe I want to be delivered. I want to sit on my couch. So I'd probably type in, any number of different keywords, just depending on my mood. And that's going to change day to day.
Great. So by doing that, asking simple questions of your friends and family, you can start making a list of the different types of things. And I might say, I don't offer thin crust, so I'm not going to want to rank for a thin crust pizza near me. That's not going to be relevant to my business. So definitely a good place to start. Easy enough. I'm sure everybody Googles things. The other thing you can do is to perform your own Google search. I think a lot of you might have seen as you start typing a keyword in, Google will suggest what they think you're going to type. So sometimes they're kind of crazy what they suggest, but it's definitely a good way to say, hey, I'm typing in a pizza in Beaver Creek, Ohio. It might pop up deep dish pizza, Beaver Creek, Ohio, delivery pizza, Beaver Creek, Ohio. You might get other ideas that way. So definitely a good way to do that. The other thing that you can do is type in a search. So pizzeria, Beaver Creek, Ohio. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that search result page, you'll see related searches. And Google will say, hey, try these searches. If you didn't find what you're looking for, try this out. So definitely some really easy tips and tools that you can do right there to start your own keyword research.
I go back to the name of this webinar, Making Google Work for Your Business. Google wants you to rank. They want to find the businesses that are doing what they need to, that are most trustworthy. So they're going to provide you tools like that. They're going to help you out. You kind of just got to look for the cues and know what to look for.
Exactly. So another thing that you really want to think about is the types of keywords. So a lot of times we hear clients say, like, I want to rank for plumber, Lexington, Kentucky, because it's got 400,000 search results. You know, like everybody's searching for it. You know, there's lots of search volume, so on and so forth. That's a really competitive keyword, right? So, you know, when we're talking about it, I think back to a time when, I moved into the house that my husband grew up in, was born and raised in. It was built before 1900. It's an old farmhouse, and that thing had not been touched since 1983 when I moved in. So there were a lot of things that needed repaired, and I thought, I can do this sort of thing myself. So, I started my searches with like just a general like plumber search in my location, thinking, well, let me just see how much it would cost to have somebody else do this, or let me see what the businesses are in my area. But, then as I got to thinking about it and saw some of the prices and so on and so forth, I thought, I can probably do this myself. So I wanted to repair this faucet in our bathroom. Well, so then I thought, I am going to search faucet repair, because I want to see maybe a YouTube video, or I want to see where I can get the parts to do it myself, and so on and so forth. It's definitely getting a little bit more specific. There's lower search volume, but it's getting on towards like, maybe I need some help in some way. Then when I realized that I actually did not want to do the faucet repair myself, because I would rather spend my time doing other things rather than repairing faucets, I got into emergency faucet repair, because I am no good at doing this type of faucet repair. So when I get to this keyword, there's a much smaller search results pool. So the competition, if I were a small business doing emergency faucet repair, there's a lot less competition here. And I'm willing to bet anyone that's Googling emergency faucet repair in a specific location is going to be calling a plumber very shortly, because I'm not searching emergency faucet repair unless I really need emergency faucet repair. So when we get to these really specific keywords like emergency faucet repair, that's a transactional keyword. That's what we talk about as a transactional keyword. It has high purchase intent. Those keywords have comprise 70% of searches, and those are the ones that you as a business want to rank for. So when you're thinking through, like in the pizza example, if somebody's searching all night pizza delivery in Chevy Chase, Kentucky, they're wanting someone that's going to deliver them a pizza right now. That is a transactional keyword, and those transactional terms have a 2.5 times higher conversion rate. So think outside the box when you're choosing keywords. Don't just choose plumber or electrician or concrete walkways. You want to do something that's really specific and definitely transactional.
Yep.
All right, so we're doing a quick guide to paid search. We've talked a little bit about what those paid ads, and that's Google AdWords when we're in the Google world. How do you show up in those areas? So, when we're talking about this, we're talking about those results that are showing up at the top of the page. And we've heard a lot from clients, like, nobody looks at those. They just scroll right past. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that all the time.
Yep, I hear too often, those are just the big box businesses. Those are those companies that's not for the small to medium-sized business owner.
Right.
I can tell you we work with small to medium-sized business owners strictly, and we deliver some really great numbers, and we get a lot of our businesses, those ready-to-buy customers, right there at the top.
Exactly. And if you'll look at the example on the mobile phone here on your screen, take a look at the fact that when somebody does a search from their mobile phone, if there are ads appearing, that's the only thing that they're seeing on their screen. Yep. So they're going to have to at least see it.
Yep.
And other than these types of ads, like, these are not as easily ignorable as other types of advertisements. So there's definitely a lot more trust with these types of ads for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And when we talk about ads, it's kind of a mystery, I think, for customers. So we talk about how to get ranking in that ad section. What does it take? What's the process?
Sure.
Who do I pay to get up there?
Yep.
And it's kind of a mystery to some of the customers that I work with, to be honest.
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot that you can do. And first and foremost, just to understand a little bit more about these and why they're so powerful. We've talked about great conversion rates, great click-through rates, but why is that they're so powerful? Well, it's for a few different reasons. Number one, these are highly targeted. Highly targeted. The back end of these things is terribly complex, but super powerful. So it's really exciting. Don't be overwhelmed. There's people that can help you, but you're able to target ready to buy consumers at the time that they're ready to purchase. Yep. For sure. You can target pretty much anything about that audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is the delivery. You know, you can change what time of day these are delivering. So, you know, if you're only open till 6 o'clock, you don't want your ad delivering at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock p.m. So you can really target the delivery of these ads. You can deliver it on mobile, on desktop. Mm-hmm. You can deliver to specific locations. So really highly customizable.
Yep, you can go out there and there's these auctions essentially that are ran all day. You go out there, you find the times that you want to run your ads. You can go in there and bid on these keywords, the specific keywords that are you know, to your business, and say, this is the time that I want to show up. You are competing with those other businesses that want to show up at that time as well. So it very much is an auction that drives the price up and down. It can fluctuate, but it is a place where you can pick the specific time that you want to show up. You want to deliver that message to your customers.
Yep. The other thing is really, you know, your ability to just enjoy kind of the fruits of your labor and your ability to, you know, to really connect with those consumers and get a really good return on your investment here. Yeah. And I think in addition, you know, you're able to really see very transparent reporting. So really exciting things that you can do with paid search and you know, especially, you know, with Vivial and our Vivial campaigns.
This reminds me a lot of a customer that we worked with down in Lexington. So they're an HVAC business. They had their business. They were running their ad campaigns. When we perform searches for our customers, we perform these ad campaigns for our customers. What we're able to do is track everything. We keep it as transparent as possible. So when we're talking about enjoying results, we're talking about delivering these results to our customers. This customer specifically started to notice that a lot of the calls were coming through between 5 and 6, and unfortunately they're closed at 5, so they're delivering all these calls to an answering service, not converting very many of them. So not only did we deliver these calls to this customer, but after giving them the tracking, they were able to notice and change their actual business hours. So they changed their hours to stay open until 6. They started taking advantage of all these leads. Most of their competition wasn't open until 6, so they're stepping out and getting differentiated from the competition as well.
Really maximizing those results.
Exactly, so maximizing some of those results. That's just one customer that we've worked with. All of the customers that we've worked with just in the last 30 days, again, going back to those small businesses that say, that section's not for me, that's not me. We work with those small to medium-sized businesses, and we've done these campaigns for them. In the last 30 days, we've been able to deliver over 59,000 calls. So 59,000 actual calls. Those are people looking for that business. So if you're sitting out there as a small to medium-sized business owner saying, the ad section's not for me, I'm going to tune this part out, tune back in, because this is a big, powerful part of our business, and we can deliver good results, and then track it and show you exactly what they are.
Exactly, and that translates into real dollars for your small business for sure.
Yep, absolutely. So we've talked about all the different sections now. We've talked about, you know, paid search, those ads at the top. We've talked about the map section, you know, ranking in your local area with your Google My Business, and then the organic, all the websites, the linking, the, you know, off-site blogging, on-site blogging, all these directories. It can be pretty overwhelming. You know, like I said, I work with customers every day, so a lot of customers come to me and they try and determine, you know, why they partnered up with us, or other people that I talk to out on the street say, hey, when do I need to partner up? What can I do myself? You know, you're wearing a lot of hats. Something I help all my customers determine is we take a look at time, desire, knowledge, and resources. A lot of the customers we work with say, hey, you know what, I have a great staff, they handle this and that. I have some time on my hands, but you know what, no desire. I do not want to do online marketing. I definitely don't have the knowledge either, and I don't have, you know, the resources. I don't really have someone to just dedicate to tracking my SEM all day. You know, other people will say, hey, you know what, I have time, I got desire, I even took a couple classes, so I have some knowledge. But you know what, I have to go out and actually perform the business. I have to work. I'm not just a manager or a boss, so I don't have anyone to dedicate to this. So What we'll say is if you look at time, desire, knowledge, and resources, and even one of these doesn't fit, there's a gap even in one of these, this could be an area where you say, maybe it's time for me to bring in some help.
Exactly.
It's someone that maybe we can get some help on. And Vivial's really great at partnering up with these businesses to help deliver some of these results.
Exactly.
We offer an array of solutions, no matter where your gaps are in your business, whether it's websites, whether it's off-site blogging and on-site blogging.
Sure.
Writing these posts that tell Google what you do and where you do it. Maybe we're talking about Google My Business and directory services, video services. We even do print advertising, and we even help our customers, target those customers and that audience as well. So we offer an array of solutions that can fit anywhere in your business.
And definitely all of those solutions are really, really important because a really successful marketing campaign is going to be robust. It's going to be integrated. It's going to have every component. And so, we definitely are able to help with all of that, not just the search items that we've talked about today. Also to mention, we are a Google Premier Partner. That means that Google has said, you guys have taken the steps to get more knowledge and more understanding of these solutions, and you guys are doing a great job. There's very few Google Premier Partners out there, so definitely means a lot. And really, as we talked about, our job here at Vivial is to make sure that we can connect you with the consumers that you need. And, we've got, we could talk till we're blue in the face about all the reasons that, we do a really great job of doing that. Some information here. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us today. Also, keep sending those questions in because you never know. We'll be able to send, answers after the fact and make sure that we get you the right information because we want you to get found and to make sure that Google is working for your business.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you at Facebook.